Shit. I wanted to start this at 6:11, but I had to change the candles because they had burned all the way down and I didn't quite make it to 6:11. So it's 6:12 and good morning. I need to record this because I have an extremely busy day, and if I don't get it done now, I don't know when I'm going to get it done. The title for today's message is Mayday, Stirring the Passions of Desire. Or actually I have passion, but I don't know whether I'm going to put plural or singular. I'm beginning this topic blurb at 5:55 a.m. Not sure what time I will record it. Today is May Day. In many cultures in the past, a time for celebrating the end of winter with dancing and the passions of spring. I'd like to think May Day 2014 will be a time for ending the long cold winter of human ignorance and bondage to a system that has not only enslaved humanity generation after generation, it has left us with a history of unparalleled cruelty and crimes against humanity and life itself. I'd like to see our passion for truth and justice unleashed on the world. I'd like to see our passion for beauty and expression of human love expand to fill the entire world. I'd love to see our passion for creativity bring forth the greatest renaissance the world has ever known. What do you desire to see and experience? Passion is the fire of creativity. It's sexual, it's natural, it's raw life force energy. How do you choose to channel that energy? What brought forth this topic was a discussion I had with my friend last night, yes, the married lady, and I got a chance last night to actually meet for a little while her husband. Very good-looking man. She's a very good-looking woman. And on the way, we had our first date last night, if you will. And on the way driving from the Irish pub to her house, where I got a chance to meet her husband, she said that the quote that she had sent me the other day, which I don't have in front of me, I was going to look it up, but I've just been rushing trying to get this done by 6:11, which I missed, obviously. But in any case, she said the most important thing she wanted me to see in that quote was not the difference between the natural and the spiritual man. The spiritual man speaks to the natural man through desire, I think was the quote. She wanted me to focus on desire, and what has drawn her attention to me is my passion for life. Now, I must admit that when it comes to sexual passion, I'm scared like shit. Wow. I feel like I'm embarking on something that I've never even considered as a possibility. I don't know what I did consider as a possibility, but it certainly didn't come the way it seems to be coming to me. and I don't know how I'm going to handle any of it. Honestly, I'm going to handle it. That's how I choose to handle everything in my life, honestly. I don't mean honestly I'm going to handle it. I'm going to handle it with honesty. I'm going to handle it with as much truth and transparency that I can muster. I'm going to tell on myself when, like when she was sharing certain things with me last night, I said, what's coming up for me right now is inadequacy. I feel totally inadequate. I was feeling as if I was incapable of even going into the area that was being pictured in my mind by what she was sharing with me. The vision that she has, the vision that is possible. And I'm thinking as I meditated, I laid in bed when I finally got to bed after midnight last night. I laid in bed just thinking about what the future might have in store and thinking, wow, am I going to be able to do this? But folks, I want you to hear me. I want you to hear me with your heart, not with your ears and not with your mind, but with your heart. We have within us Yes, it's been latent most of our lives, but we have within us life force energy. That life force energy has been shamed. It has been nullified to the extent that it's possible to nullify it. It has been abused. It has been misunderstood. It has been downgraded, and in every way, shape, and form, our natural life force energy as physical beings, or put another way, as spiritual beings having a human experience, has been attacked by our religions and by our cultures and by our cultural leaders from probably the beginning, who I don't know how far back it goes. But I know I've been touched by it. And so when somebody starts talking to me about liberating that energy, about experiencing that energy with all of its dynamic rawness and beauty and all of its passion and desire, and I mean, I know I'm going to get letters from you saying, Ron, don't you know that desire is the way that leads to hell? Don't you know that desire is a bad thing? It's what leads to all the suffering. No, I don't know that. I know I've been taught that, but I don't believe it's true anymore. I believe the opposite is true. I believe it's been the suppression of passion, the suppression of desire that has led to suffering. Not desire itself, but the unfulfillment of desires, because we've been told if we fulfill our desires, somehow we're going to be sinning. Somehow we're not going to be good enough. Somehow we're going to be left with the short end of the stick, and we're not going to be able to be acceptable to God, or the gods that created us, that eat our energy and love to make us feel shame, and love to make us feel angry, and love to make us experience injustice and lies and everything that goes against the very nature of the universe itself, which is total openness and total truth. You say, Ron, but look at it. The dark matter is much more expansive and much more prevalent in the universe than the light matter. Yeah, that's true. Why? Because we've suppressed the light. We've suppressed the joy. We've suppressed the passion within our own being. The passion for life and living life at its fullness. We've bought into the lies of everything that prohibits us and limits us from experiencing the greatest joy possible. And when I'm face to face with the opportunity to express joy, to express passion, to express my sensuality, to express my sexuality, to express my lust for life. Now you say, Ron, you just used the word lust. Don't you know that lust is a bad thing? Well, maybe it can be in certain circumstances, but it's certainly a bad thing when it's natural, and when we suppress it, that's a really bad thing, because then we live as half of our being. We live with half of our energy, or more than half of our energy, pushed down and laying latent, waiting for us to say, okay, I'm willing to pursue my passion. I'm willing to stop making lists of what I want, which never happens, and look at what's in front of me. What is life presenting to me right now, at this time in my life? What is on the table before me? If it's food, and it's delicious food, enjoy it with passion. Eat it with passion and consciousness. And remember that it's an exchange of energy. Everything in our world is an exchange of energy. It's life giving to life, so that life sustains itself. It always does. It always will. And there's nothing sinful. There's nothing shameful. There's nothing to be guilty about in expressing the natural passions of physical creation that was in the beginning made by God, and yet tampered with by the gods who wanted to control everything for whatever reason. Whatever reason the archons and the demons and the devils decided to give us all of the experience of the negative side of life. And boy, they did a good job. Didn't they do a wonderful job? And I say they. Didn't you know that they are we? They are us. We are them. We are the ones that gave ourselves this experience. We were such powerful creators that we created what was impossible. We created an illusion or a delusion that we could be separate from life. How can anything be separate from life in the life force energy and in the web of life that exists everywhere in everything? How can we be separate from the consciousness that gives everything its existence? Everything is consciousness. Everything is energy. Everything is love. If we will embrace it, instead of fighting it, it's all love. If we fight it, if we choose to suppress it and put it down, then it becomes fear. And that's what we've been able to experience. We've done a damn good job of experiencing all the fearful things in life. And that's why we've experienced the crimes against humanity. That's why we've experienced all of the suffering and all of the pain and all of the agony and all of the misfortune and everything that we've experienced till now, up to this point in our history. Everything that we've experienced has been our gift to ourselves so that we would be able to appreciate the celebration when it's happened. And may this May Day 2014 be the beginning of celebration. May it be the beginning of the release of all the energy that has been pent up, and an explosion of sharing love, an explosion of sharing ideas, an explosion of sharing life with others, so that we can no longer live in the limitation of the matrix, the limitation of the old paradigm, the limitation of the old world order that wants to expand its control grid. No, it's time for humanity to say no. We're going to experience life in fullness, not life in lack. There is no life in lack, only death. And it's time to embrace life. It's time to open our minds, to open our hearts, to open our worlds to things that are possible. Instead of looking at things as impossible, we need to start looking at the possibilities that lie before us, the gifts we've been given, the potentiality that is within us. It's in our control, and we can do it. We can change the world. It's not up to the governments to do it. It's not up to the corporations to do it. They are powerless to do what needs to be done because they don't have the vision. They have been trapped themselves in the mindset of control and limitation and lying and propaganda and all of the negatives. That's what they've dwelt on. They've majored in the minor things of life to get us to not wake up and not to experience the fullness of life itself. I feel like I'm on the edge of experiencing the fullness of life. And I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't know. It's exciting, and yet I'm apprehensive at the same time because I know that I'm going where I haven't gone before. I know that I'm going and I'm crossing lines and taboos that were out of the question for me even a month ago. Okay? Even a month ago. Out of the question. I didn't have it in my mind to even think of some of the things that may be being presented before me with people, especially one person right now that has come into my life to expand my consciousness as how much pleasure am I willing to experience? How much pleasure are you willing to experience? The thing that stood out the most in all of my writings and all of my videos for this one individual, this lady, is the desire to use sexual energy to create worlds. We can use our passion and direct it toward creating a world that works for everybody. We have the power within us. We are the ones we have been waiting for. We are the ones who can create a system where every human being gets what they absolutely need just to live, because nobody should have to strive and work hard and slave for all of their lives just to meet the essential needs of living. That's insane. And in our world, it's even more insane because there are so many people, possibly a tenth or more of the entire world's population doesn't even have the basic essentials of life. They don't have proper clothing, proper food, proper water, proper shelter. And almost none of us have proper love because we've been so suppressed in our loving. We've been so suppressed by the ideas that have been sold to us that somehow make life force energy or sexual energy to be some type of a sin or a crime or something to be avoided. Bullshit. Life is to be experienced. And May Day, may we dance around the maypole naked, for God's sake. Let off our inhibitions and not be controlled by all of the things that have suppressed our energy from the beginning of time. Perhaps from the beginning of time. It's time for a new renaissance, as I said. A new bursting of creativity, a new bursting of celebration, a bursting forth of life, a bursting forth of beauty, a bursting forth of the things that we desire. Let's not deprive ourselves of what we desire most. What do you desire most? Do you desire most to simply love and be loved? Well, stop making excuses and look at how love is coming to you and start there, because you can't start like I've all my life I've put it out here. Somewhere in the future, something's going to happen and I'm going to be able to be fulfilled. But I know damn well I don't have it now. Well, we do have it now. We can always start wherever we are, from whatever situation we're in. We can start. Find the beauty in your current situation, even if it looks hopeless. Find the beauty. Find the love. Find something that you're passionate about, and let it be known to the universe that your passion is important, that your desire is important, and the universe, its job is to grant your desires. That's the acronym that I created a long time ago for God, a granter of desire. God is a granter of desire. What do you desire? What's your passion? Live it. Start living it today. Start living it now on May Day 2014, because together we are going to create the world that works for everybody. We are going to bring truth and justice to a world where lies have predominated. We are going to bring beauty out of all the places where ugliness has been created. We are going to fix the problems. We are going to address the issues that we face together, and we're going to do it together, because it is together that we rise up. It is together, and it could happen in one day if we would all get the message. I don't think we're all going to get it in one day. I wish we would. But it could happen in one day if we would just get the message that God wants to grant our desires and to stop denying ourselves. Self-denial is a lie. We need to say yes to ourselves, and yes to life, and yes to love, and yes to laughter, and yes, let the lights come on. Let the light shine in. We're in the beginning of a wave of creativity, a wave of passion. May the celebrations begin. Thank you for listening. Namaste.